many things to be expected from this young gentleman. Actually doing a really good job for SPT at the Eastern Clash as well, where SPT is the only Chinese team getting really close to actually taking an entire series of the Korean Overlords. And merely was it because of inefficient play that they weren't able to take the series home.
And we very much are hoping that, once again, we talk about Qin Xiao. He is recovering from surgery to his wrist, I believe. Not 100%
he had a wrist
sure.
surgery, exactly.
Exactly. So either way, he is going to be recovering for a bit. Molly has some big shoes to fill, but if anyone can in this league, I would say Molly is a pretty good candidate to attempt to do so. As we are preparing for game number 1, Dragonshire is going to be the map. Let's see if SPT can keep up with a spree. They kept it on Dragonshire and lost it on Battlefield last series.
I'm pretty sure you're correct there. Right? I think their map score on Dragonshire is still flawless, still undefeated in Season 1, both Phase 1 and Phase 2. Let's see if they can keep it up. Something that is worth mentioning here is that Brexis wasn't banned at all. So we could maybe, I would actually love to see Brexis, to be honest. I think I'm one of the few people out there who doesn't hate the map with a passion.
Mate, I love Brexis.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of my favorites. It gives so much more. It's one of the few maps that mages, I think, actually do have a play. Because the AoE damage is so important. But everyone else is like, nope, don't like it. Well, we love it. So go Zerg. Go Team Zerg. As we see Tracer being hovered over as the first ban by Sunny Lion.
All right, can't really blame them. We do have pretty lethal Tracer with Melody C in the building, and that's actually something that you could notice and basically track in the way SPT played during the Eastern Clash, and even before that a little bit, that Melody C was taking over more and more into that ranged flex role, whereas beforehand he was sometimes playing secondary supports as well. He now feels super confident on heroes like Genji, Tracer as well. He could even fill the shoes of someone like Xin Zhao when it comes to like a real ranged assassin, like let's say a Vala or something. However, Vala has disappeared and so has double support. So Melody C is now back in his comfort zone, one of the strongest players mechanically. Actually, I had a discussion with the other commentators at the Eastern Clash, and Dreadnought was very positive and very supportive of Melody C's skill levels as well, calling him one of the best Genjis in the world.
I would agree. I think that's a very fair assessment, but we have to see if it even comes out as Genji also falling out of the meta a significant amount.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see how certain heroes that were always picked first or second a few weeks ago are now either just ignored altogether, just saying that Maiev wasn't even picked in the previous set. This time she's going to get banned, though. I think SPT realizes that one of the few heroes that could maybe land a lucky punch against them would be a Maiev, because let's face it, on paper, this is like David against Goliath. This is SPT coming in as the huge favorite, the 3-time China champion facing off Sunny Lion, who admittedly performed quite admirably well in the last phase, but now with all those roster swaps, it remains to be seen of how strong they actually are this time.
As Hanzo, like you said, being picked up very quickly by Sunny Lion, leaving SPT over for probably Malfurion. ZZH very, very happy with that particular hero. And straight for Genji. They are no chill at all, where the other teams don't seem to value it that much. SPT still very keen.
Yeah, Melody C is going to be a happy panda right now, because that is most certainly going to be his pick. And on Dragonshire, which is by no means a terrible map for Genji, he's going to slice and dice things up here, going for those early ganks. And maybe intercepting enemy heroes as well, trying to catch them isolatedly, and especially against Hanzo. Answering the Shimada call with another Shimada is a very smart thing to do. And usually it is Genji who comes out on top in that duel.
Yeah, and I did misspeak a little bit ago. I said Genji is out of the meta. Genji has fallen down in the meta. He is no longer, as you can see, the first ban choice for every single game. He is now sometimes in a situation where he won't even be picked in a draft. But this time, very highly prioritized, and this is once again going to lean towards what you alluded to earlier, just the insane play abilities of Melody C.
All right, they definitely don't want to have Uther banned second, although I think so much has changed ever since you know, the meta was turning a little stale there, with always similar bans happening now. Even if they had banned Uther, that is SPT, they probably could have fallen back onto the Stukov unless Sunny Lion doesn't feel comfortable playing Stukov, because by no means is Stukov a in-meta support in China up to this point. True, we did see 365 on CE doing and working wonders on that hero, but other supports may not have caught up in time. So
yeah,
Uther,
there's Druid and there's 365 so far.
Exactly. Yeah, and the other supports are slowly but surely probably practicing the hero already, but whether you're confident enough to actually play it on the big stage when it's about points, especially against SPT, who's probably the biggest fish in the pond, then that's a totally different question.
Indeed it is, as we await to see the ban from SPT here, with Genji already on their side. Ways to deal with that could be a solid ban choice. Diablo as a potential.
I also like Anubarak bans against Genji because you basically deny any cocoon shenanigans when you're dragon blading, so getting Sonya out of the way is pretty solid as well. Up to this point, they would only have a Twilight Dream potentially as an interrupt, and especially if they don't want to pick heroes that are known to keep Sonya in check too much, I think it's a solid ban. And let's face it, Sonya is probably one of the strongest soul laners at the moment due to her recent rework.
In comes the Grey Mane, Sunny Lion, banning that out, removing some more sustained damage. You want someone who can drop a little bit of burst, set up for Genji, and then Genji goes in for the kill. Even if Genji fails, well, you got that go for the throat, which is also going to be incredibly effective. So Grey Mane, a solid ban out by Sunny Lion. SPT, though, what do they want? They need a Misaka hero. That is a certainty here.
Yeah, Misaka and Soap, of course, have this beautiful synergy between themselves in which one can easily fulfill the role of the other, and then they're always going to be swapping bruisers and main tank like it was nothing. Now, this is probably going to be a Misaka hero, definitely coming out stronger on that Anubarak than Soap. And Soap has actually been turning it upside down as of late, even falling back on heroes like Malthael at the Eastern Clash. Which basically left me speechless for the most part, because I was like, Soap, I don't really know him to be the mechanical superstar. You know, he was always more of that reliable off-tank, but performing admirably well, actually.
This is almost certainly going to be a Molly hero. Junkrat leaping up in all regions. I blame Snitch, quite frankly, but he is still a fantastic hero, so seeing him pop up here is pretty good. AoE damage versus Uther, always successful. So we'll see how well that is able to do. Once he gets that spread volley especially, then everyone's life becomes pretty terrible, honestly, if you're on the enemy team. So let's see what the counters are to deal with this. And solid front line, block those shots without taking too much damage. Material still available as well, could be pretty decent. The double protection style, ETC, holy cow, also available with only 3 interrupts currently. That's quite a lot, but when you have double invulnerable, it could become a little bit less. Even a single invulnerable can seriously help.
Yeah, let's see what Sunny Lion is trying to use here. Of course, we have a little bit of limited data because they have 2 brand new players in the roster that we haven't really seen on the big stage up to this point. And we see Leoric plus Muradin coming out here. Now, Leoric is an interesting one. Probably going to face off the soul laner that will now be chosen. However, if SPT likes to spice things up a little bit and go more exotic, it could even be a Junkrat in that soul lane who's normally having an easy time poking and dominating a lane against a melee hero.
Junkrat could work out here. They could also... trying to think. In terms of their laners, Malthael would not be terrible.
I would like
very armor heavy in terms of the support of Uther, so percentage damage could help with that significantly. And it would also be a reasonable laner against
still available.
The Leoric. They choose the Zeratul. Now I'm curious what Melody C is playing. The other hero I was going to suggest would have been Zagara, but I was going to come with the same issue as to why I didn't expect Zeratul to be picked, as to what Melody C would have to pick Zagara. I expect this is probably going to be a Soap Zeratul, which is going to be pretty interesting.
So once again, Soap expanding his hero pool and shifting away, shying away from that purely off-tank bruiser role that he was fulfilling in the previous phase. And it'll be Misaka on the solo tank, Anubarak, and probably Melody C still on that Genji. Too good have the results been whenever he played on that hero. Molly on Junkrat, very likely going to happen. So we're probably going to see Zeratul either sitting in lane against against Leoric a little bit, or it could be indeed the ranged versus melee duel with Junkrat causing all sorts of headaches for Leoric in that top lane.
Exactly. So gonna be interesting here. So like you said, both Junkrat and Zeratul can actually solo lane. Junkrat's much safer than Zeratul for obvious reasons. And Zeratul doesn't even get regen until quite late on. But it's still reasonable. The issue I have is potential team fights due to the fact that Anub'arak is a fantastic tank. But he is made out of paper mache if he is focused. So if they can focus him down without having too much cocoon countering, Malfurion is not a burst healer. Anub'arak could have severe issues here.
The best way for SPT to start a team fight is, of course, with a VP, so there's going to be a lot of weight, a lot of pressure on the shoulders of the Zeratul player, and then ideally, we're going to have some roots underneath, we're going to have a Riptire coming in as well to really seal the deal, so that is the ideal way for SPT to get things started. But can they successfully execute it against Sunny Lion? That remains to be seen. For now, though, we're going to introduce the Sunny Lions to you, with Pao on that Uther still remaining the support player. Jaina plays Falstad, Feed B on that Hanzo, Wildlight is here on Leoric, and First going on Murden.
And he is actually Feed B now, so that actually helps. SPT, Molly on Junk, Genji being played by Melody C, Misaka on Anub'arak, Soap on Zeratul, and ZZH on Malfurion. Going to be exciting to see. As talents are being picked up, sensibly, we are seeing Anub'arak go for Regen Master here. Other than Hanzo's small amounts of poke, very little actually ability power burst that a shield would help with.
Yeah, Melody C here with a clean sidestep, dodging the Stormbolt and actually chasing down First on the Murden, bringing him all the way down to 30% health. Good poking there. In the meantime, no serious casualties for either side. That could change with Jaina on Falstad falling rapidly after a beautiful bird charge. Now it is important for SPT to split to the side lanes so they won't lose any minion XP, which could basically negate the slight lead that they just established for themselves.
Molly moves down to the bot lane. It is going to be him in one lane or sort of rotation slash solo lane. That always is what ends up happening here. He'll be able to poke First pretty consistently, but Falstad has come down to help. Zeratul is who is laning against Leoric. Interesting to see, and even more interesting to see, Leoric has not picked his level 1 talent yet. Now he has an Ancient Renewal.
Yeah, now he did. Ancient Renewal is an interesting one. It actually sees a lot more play in Korea and China than it does in Europe. It's an activatable talent, and if you do activate it, you're going to get a nice chunk of healing. However, it comes with a big disadvantage, and that is the cooldown. And it can only be lowered, the cooldown that is, after picking up a regen glow.
Murden gets knocked up, tanking as best he can, trying to hold the point, but you can see that health bar ticking down. First gets taken out. Soap with the Vorpal Blade to move back into range and finish off the kill.
Welcome to the HGC China, Sunny Lion. You had a little bit of a hibernation slumber there, but SPT is a pretty scary beast to face right of the get-go, and they do have the quicker rotations. While Wildlight was trying to get control over the top shrine, it was Zeratul. It was Zeratul's played by Soap, who immediately rotated with the with the allies, with his teammates, and then with a 5 versus 4 advantage, they took that Merc camp. They got a kill. Easy peasy lemon squeeze.
Melody C, nice rotation, very easy capture onto that shrine, but Feed B, that's gonna be annoying to fix. For those who are wondering what the hell I just did, Feed B used to be called Feed D last season, and that was quite hard to learn to say. And as such, that's ingrained in my head now. So give us a little bit of slack if we make that mistake on that one. We will get used to it again.
For all of you out there who say, that's easy to do, try to say Feep D, Feep D, Feep B, Feep B. Try it like 10 times in a row, and you're gonna find yourselves go mad. Now, here we see another gank onto Leoric. Thanks to Ancient Renewal, though, which looked like he was taking a sip from the healing fountain. He stays alive for now. A very important talent to thwart all those ganks. Molly, in the meantime, so much damage coming in for the bombs. Even Jaina committing to that gank just to be super safe and sound here. Not really needed, though. And, you know, losing a member every now and then is okay, as long as it doesn't happen too often for SPT. And Sunny Lion, they immediately know what to do now. With establishing control over that bottom lane, they take the Knights and maybe even try to go for a tower or two.
Here's a camp, like you said, being picked off very quickly. Zeratul actually scouting out the one in top lane, expecting that to happen.
Okay, so the top lane stays under control for SPT, very important, otherwise they could lose the Dragon Knight. The Siege Giants will help de-push the Knights, so perfect timing for SPT as well. Look at the beautiful concussion mine dealing with all those Knights. Fantastically done. Jane on the Falster once again saying goodbye. Too good are the ganks by Melody C and Misaka.
First, takes a couple shurikens, no big deal for the moment. As we see ZZH holding onto this shrine very slowly, taking his time. There is still the Bruiser camp actually pushing it in, but it's only the mage, but it does get taken out. Nice interrupt by Misaka, not enough. Oh. Nice dwarf toss. The Stormbolt does not land though, but with 3 members here, Lion are able to drive back SPT, and that gives enough time for Leoric to get work done in the top lane. But surprise, looking for Soap, looking to get the kill. Hammerang, Vorpal Blade. Soap trying to micro, but does get taken out.
Ah, Soap! I thought he was safe already. All he needed to do was just embrace the warm welcome of the gates and towers. And I'm not sure if Falstaff could have finished it. True, maybe he expected a W to go down here and finish the deal, but I'm sure that was a little risky. However, Hanzo falls at the same time, just like Uther did. So it was, you know, still a 2-for-1, still okay for SPT.
Yeah, I mean, the wormhole might have been smart. I don't think he actually expected Falstad to miss the Q. I think that was the idea. He was like trying to dodge the explosion and like potentially get out that way. Or he thought his blink was off cooldown and he could just blink again and accidentally wormhole. It was one of the two.
Like sometimes when you expect your opponents to land every single cool skill shot, then you do things you normally wouldn't do. So it looked a little bit goofy, silly maybe here, but it was definitely Soap having a plan behind this. It was not like he was just inting on purpose here. In the meantime, Melody C taking that Dragon Knight. He was interrupted once, interrupted twice, but with the 3rd time's the charm, he's gonna take that good old Dragon Knight and pound on that middle tower.
Interesting. Hanzo actually pokes the mercenary camp to stop it from despawning, and as such, SPT just kind of take it.
Yeah.
Potential misplay here, as we see both towers go down in mid lane. Top lane is about to suffer a similar fate, and now there's Siege Giants that need to be dealt with in bot lane.
And you can really see how SPT is trying to open the map here a little bit, using 2 heroes to destroy the towers on the top lane, while the rest of the team is applying a lot of pressure on the opposite side of the map. And with the large distance between top and bottom, there is very little Sunny Lion can do. Level 10 is here now as well. They need to be super careful. 1 cocoon could be all it takes for SPT to find a kill here. Zeratul didn't fully commit. No VP to catch the Falstead. He's playing it much safer now.
Saka just wades through the enemy team here, drops a beetle or 2. No, actually holds on to his beetles for the moment. There we go. This will allow him to push in a little bit further, but the beetles only take 2 shots, and with the help of heroes, that's basically 1 shot, and as such, able to back out.
Yeah, beautiful dodge there with a burrow charge as well. No longer allowing Murden to get that Stormbolt in there. Soap was patiently waiting in the bush, intercepting Falstad as well, dealing so much poke damage. And Leoric, by the way. Leoric is waiting for his level 10 to be locked down. I think it all comes down to the next team fight situation. Do they want to pick someone off with an Entomb, or do they want to make sure that Leoric stays alive a little longer with that March of the Black King? What March of the Black King can do, we saw in the previous series, where it was just absolute madness and Leoric becoming the shining superstar.
They've already made the decision going for the Entomb, though. The potential Entomb Gust combo, a good classic combo, but is available for Sunny Lion if they wish. So, let's see if they're able to do so. Start onto Melody C, looking to lock him down. This would not be the target if they wanted to Entomb, and Leoric is busy in mid lane anyway.
Well played by Melody C here as well, waiting for the stuns to go down. If you use your deflect too early, the stuns will actually cancel and interrupt the invulnerable effect here. So this is oftentimes the trademark or the just a sign of a good Genji player when the deflect is not always used immediately after going in or after getting focused.
We see Sunny Lion attempting to get this Bruiser camp for the 2nd time. Misaka scouts it and is scouted by the Holy Radius. He's going to wait onto the point. Cocoons Uther, so no Divine Shield. So beautiful VP on 2 members. Riptire gets gusted, actually, giving them the chance, but the Riptire still makes it in. Divine Shield onto the single member of Hanzo to drop the damage. The silence is good, but the damage output is crazy. And SPT, full retreat reveal on Soap, deflect out on the arrow. Nice job here. Scatter arrow kill by Phoebe D.
SPT!
God's sake.
Yeah, they just got schooled, to be honest. Sunny Lion knew exactly how to fight in that choke point. It was Junkrat coming and arriving a little bit too late here. The Riptire not dealing as much damage as they wanted to. And I think it was all because of that Mighty Gust. Basically interrupting a huge Twilight Dream Riptire combo that could have made Murden explode. And the focus on Murden was a little bit questionable in the first place. The VP was good, but here comes the false dead. Look at Malfurion trying to get ready to cast. The Riptire also getting knocked back here. And Melody C then totally left alone, getting killed, getting focused down. That was so well played by Sunny Lion.
That Gust was such a big deal. You mentioned it already, but what it actually did is it bought time for exactly this to happen, only in a much better scenario. Is Gust available again? And once again, Gust gives time for Uther. That's what happened in the last fight. Uther was in the cocoon. That Gust stopped the Riptire hitting Hanzo when he came out of the VP before Uther was out. Second Uther was out of that cocoon, he drops a Divine Shield on Hanzo. Hanzo survives the Riptire, Scatter Arrow in an enclosed area, damage, damage, damage. And exactly the same thing happens again, only in a slightly different scenario here. Uther in a cocoon, Falstad, Mighty Gust. Jada is supporting the support today.
Definitely true, and I really like how Melody C was playing this here in the Merc camp, trying to go in at the very right moment. And then, of course, Molly with that beautiful, beautiful concussion mine, knocking Murden off the catcher platform. Otherwise, the Dwarf could have been quite the threat to overcome. And all of a sudden, the game is starting to look much closer than it used to. It is actually Sunny Lion here, the new coming team from last phase, with two new players that are rocking a lead against SPT, who are still undefeated on this very battleground. But here it goes to show why SPT is so strong. They managed to somehow, some way, sneak in yet another Dragon Knight.
Yeah, nice delay. Beautifully done by Misaka, giving Genji, Melody C, the time to sneak in, grab the Dragon Knight. You can see that Drain Hope, though, does force him to reconsider and back up a bit. He knows if he gets blown out of that Dragon Knight, there is a chance he could get stun-locked and die. So he needs his team to put pressure on elsewhere on the map. They have managed to do so. Minion Wave has arrived spot, and as such, they can push in there too.
Yeah, beautiful barrel roll as well, baiting the Dragon Knight a little deeper into the backline, which causes it to take more damage than it otherwise would have. Now the Dragon Knight's almost destroyed. How many flame breaths can it actually land on those structures? Trying to get one more tower. Every building will catch, or will cause SPT to catch up a little more with the Sunny Lions here. Genji needs to be careful. Texas down there, he could be the one getting focused. But the knockback that comes with exiting the Dragon Knight saves him for now.
Which is why I'm confused that Uther used his his Hammer of Justice there. He could have absolutely just saved that, waited for the knockback, and hoped he could get in position for the lockdown. Instead, he just used it to kill the Dragon Knight, which is never going to net them a kill against a Genji.
Yeah, that was a little funky indeed. Now both teams going for the Knights. I actually love how well Sunny Lion was able to defend in that bottom lane, allowing Leroy to do a little bit of side soaking, a little bit of solo soaking for the most part. And that is why Sunny Lion is still doing an admirable job when it comes to keeping the XP clean. Ha! Cool cyber agility jump there over the wall. Melody C. He was so close to catching a Stormbolt.
We see the positioning. Misaka looking for an opportunity, looking to just clear the lanes for the moment, raise his team to 16 because Sunny Lion are actually ahead in XP. The Melody C looking for a kill on Jaina, consistently just diving in, dropping crazy damage output, and then just pulling back. Very patient play here by Melody C while still acting like an absolute menace. This is familiar, only with a different hero to start it.
Yep, we basically saw another fight over this Merc camp a few minutes ago. This time, though, it's going to be a 5 versus 4. Riptide comes in, so does the Gust. Can SPT come out on top this time?
Melody C dropped so low, picks up the kill on Hanzo before eventually First is able to dive in. There is a nice VP, and that's actually going to force Soap to back out. Once again, the focus onto Murden. 1-for-1 kill. Zeratul comes back in from behind. Beautifully done. Very patient by Soap, and that is a cleanup by SPT. Except for Leoric, who is nowhere near this fight.
Yeah, so picked up one after the other here. Beautiful kills for Zeratul. That's exactly the way they wanted to play it. The Melody C Dragon Blade was huge. He actually bought so much time for his teammates to collapse on their opponents. But Leoric, as you said, Wildlight, there was a little bit of miscommunication going on. I think Sunny Lion was like, yeah, we can take this 4vs5. Leo, just chill and take the shrine, maybe take some 2 lanes or so, bring us ahead in experience. But it turns south because they didn't have the Zeratul vision. Maybe Wildlight also communicated and said that Zeratul was still top lane. So either way, definitely quite the mistake that costed Sunny Lion a lot of their momentum.
Wildlight's actually trying to kill Zeratul here. This is instead resulted in a Nubrak looking to punish Phoebe D. There's the Entomb on just Malfurion, but there's no one else here. There's a Gust from the side, but once again, doesn't really get them much. The Auric is still going, though. He's not done with this. Another Drained Hope, but not getting the swing off, and as such, SPT backing up.
So I'm not sure if I agree with the plays here by Sunny Lion. Normally, the way you want to play Entomb Falset is you entomb one person and gust away everyone else, so you basically can collapse on that isolated target. But it was weird. The Entomb was over, and then came the Gust. Didn't really do that much. I think they were trying to push SPT's team members back into their own backline. But either way, Wildlight playing very aggressively here. Let's see what Leoric can do in the later stages of the game. Soap, in the meantime, using maximum efficiency on that wave clear with his slash.
Very nice.
17-18. This is the time for Sunny Lion to maybe make something happen.
There they have attempted to Dragon Arrow, Hammer of Justice for the kill. Silence from the Twilight Dream on only Feed B here. And as such, they're able to back up. Surprise Zeratul though! Void Prism is good. The Auric
Roots underneath.
On the way. Riptire, the combo is set up. Whoa! Boom! Immediate double kill. In comes to Wildlight here, looking for something to turn around. Dragon Arrow is popped. Nice Hammer just to at least delay. Divine Shield on the Auric, keeping him alive. First in the Avatar form, trying to stay alive, but reset! It's Melody C picking it all up. They want to get power, but he is long gone.
That root into the Riptire, immediately taking down the health bars to 0 in a second or two. That was so cool to see SPT calculating the death of the Nubrak. As long as VP was still available, as long as all the other abilities were off cooldown, they knew they could make it happen here. Melody C once again waiting for the Hammer of Justice to go down, then using the Deflect to deal a little bit of shuriken damage right back at Uther, who can't really stop the Cyber Ninja up to this point. Now here comes Dragon Knight. 20 is around the corner. Still 14 seconds until Murden respawns here. This could be the keep, the first keep of the game. Never mind, it was actually destroyed earlier already. Big boo-boo on my part. I apologize. That could be core if they use the 20 well.
And that seems to be the plan. Level 20 is available. Shadow Mending, but it doesn't matter. Dragon Knight for the moment. And now that a noob is here is their chance. He has Rewind moving in. First stun, second stun, just absolute stun lock. 4 stuns in a row on Muradin. Endless nades coming in from Junkrat with the upgraded Riptire. Going for the cooldown reduction. It gets destroyed. Junkrat gets interrupted. Moves in, but the core is going down. The Dragon Knight unattended is wrecking this core. And that's going to be GG. Game number 1 goes over to SPT.
Yeah, and I love the Cocoon prioritization here by Misaka, knowing that the Gust is probably the biggest defense tool that Sunny Lion still had available. He was shutting down the Falstead, causing a lot of